Hearts and Hills. Thank you so much for joining you. I am one of your hosts, Shay Robinson. Yolanda is out of the studio tonight, but I am here and I'm back. I missed you all last week. I hope you've had some blessed weeks. You've enjoyed life and you're ready for tonight. I know last week you had some great conversations about what women want. And I know that the ladies laid it down. I can only imagine the talk in the studio. And I know the ladies told you exactly what women want, but tonight we're talking about what men want. And I have two men that's. But I am here and I'm back. Okay. I missed you all last week. We got one man already messing up because I'm just kidding. But tonight we have the men in the studio who is here to share. They're here to share some information about what they want. Now I'm excited because these men both came to share and they're ready to talk about their point of view. We have KK Middleton in the house. Hey, KK.
Hello, hello, hello. Greetings to you and your audience. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And we got Frank in the house. Hey, Frank.
Hey, hey. Greetings, everyone.
Now, these are two great men and they're both single. Somebody say single out in the audience. That's how the preachers do, right? Somebody say single in the audience. So if you want to know what men and women want, then what men want, this is your time to listen. So I'm starting off early. Ladies, if you have a question, you can always call in. The number is 334-269-6785. That's 334-269-6785. Remember, you can call in or you can watch us live at Hearts and Hills, the number one, or go back and watch it in your free time on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those wonderful places. So, men, here we go. KK, let's start off with you.
Cool.
Do men believe in falling in love?
Now, you got to know as we open up this segment, you got to know how I interpret terms may be a little different than the traditional definition.
Let's
but to answer your question, I don't agree with the concept of falling in love. Maybe if the question was asked, do men are they intentional about preparing for love? Do we expect love? Are we seeking love? Then I would certainly say yes. But to fall, when I think about falling, I'm thinking from an athletic point of view, and it's never good when athletes fall. And so therefore, I don't want to fall into anything that causes injuries. I worked in construction, and that can be a safety issue. So I don't want to fall into anything.
He coming with the heat.
He coming with it early, right? Frank, don't sit back.
Brother Frank say he will. I got time today.
You got time today.
That's perfectly stated.
So men normally, now I know that they're representative of some men, not all. Let's make this disclaimer. But men don't believe in falling in love.
I agree. I agree with KK because the term falling.
The term.
But we do believe in love.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yes.
So what's the equation? Like women say, we're falling in love. I'm falling in love with you. What do men say when they're feeling that same thing?
Well, that's the thing. Don't fall. Prepare for love. Be intentional.
Right.
What do you mean by prepare? Like, if you're in a relationship, how are you preparing for love? Like, help me out.
For me, I say I first start with loving myself. Going through that process of loving myself, then I reflect that on my mate or my partner or that person I bring into my team. And then I'm that example of love. So I am love. Love is my essence. I walk in love no matter what I do. So I do believe in love because I am love, because I first love myself.
That's good. That's good. And I would add to that. Look at it from a business perspective. When you talk about an investment, preparing yourself to make that major purchase in life, you don't just wake up one day and say, "Ooh, I'm about to make a purchase." No, you decide it first, and then you prepare yourself to qualify.
Okay. How do men prepare for love? I mean, love yourself. Okay. What
That's
else?
part of the preparation.
All right.
And then make sure that you're going into, when you're partnering with someone else through trial and error. Now, let's put this out here. I was not born with this good sense. I bought it.
That's right.
I didn't have a male figure growing up. So let's put this out there just in case an ex of mine want to come on and say, well, hell, why he didn't have this sense earlier? I'm telling y'all, I'm 42 years of age, and I now have bought sense. Somebody say bought sense. I've been married twice. The first one didn't go so well. The second one was perfect in my eyes, but unfortunately she died of cancer. And so that's how I'm back out here.
Really beautiful.
Thank you. That's why I'm back out here on the dating scene, single again. But now I know better. Now I know that we as men have to be prepared. We have to be intentional, and we got to make sure that whoever we're considering partnering with, that they're also wired and understand the business side of this. Too many of us, we just want to hop up and say, I want to go get an apartment, but do you qualify for one? Oh, I want to go get a new car, but do you qualify for one? You have to become qualified before you can actually take it home.
So go ahead, snap your fingers, right?
He's teaching over here. KK is coming with the
Yes. So when you say qualify, let's talk, because most women are always looking for men. They're always saying they're no good men. I know several single women who right now want men, right? And they're looking for that perfect one. How do we know that he's prepared? Like, what are some of the things that as a woman we can look for in a man to say, you know what, he may be ready, or it's not time? Because let me say this, because too many of y'all women get trapped up and you know the man is not ready and you stay way too long. So I want to give you some signs. Listen up, ladies.
For me, some of the first things to prepare, I would say, look at the foundation of what love is. You want to say forgiveness, meekness, temperance, those different attributes of love. So how do you know that he's a person of love? Like, you gotta watch and ask the right question. You gotta see how he presents himself, how he carries himself, what comes out of his mouth, what his Facebook page look like. You know what I mean? Because that's a representation of how he loves himself, because he's representing himself. So whatever I say out of my mouth, whatever I do external, internal, the way I think, my mindset is a representation of my thought process or my mindset. And then you can easily ask certain questions, and through trial and error, like KK said, and experience, or intentionally dating, going back to the planning phase and understanding that you got to actually put a plan together and be intentional about it. Then you can ask the right questions, put yourself in a great dating situation where you can actually apply those things so you can see, and so they can show itself.
So all I heard you say was you need to get yourself ready. That half of the women you're dating are not ready themselves, right?
True, but you got to know what those foundations are, and then you got to look in yourself, because if you don't love yourself through those different attributes and you don't work on them with yourself, how can you be aware or identify when you see it from a man?
So have you found a woman who's aware and identified with herself and understand herself to be able to understand you?
Have I found?
Yes.
If I found, I probably wouldn't be single. But
I'm telling you what he's looking for, ladies. I'm trying to help you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I would add to Brother Frank, what we got to look at also, there's no one size fit all. And when it comes to women or men, we got to understand first our strengths, who we are, and our current situation. I think we got to look at our level of availability and our level of responsibility first before we can go out there seeking a partner. What am I saying? Make it make sense, KK. When you look at a woman, she has to look at her commitment currently. When you talk about being a parent, do you have the availability to even date full-time, part-time, or sometime? See, that's the common question that a lot of us don't want to answer.
Okay.
What is your level of availability? A lot of us honestly shouldn't be looking for full-time relationships because we already have full-time commitments. So when you look at, if you're a full-time parent with a toddler, the man that you would hope to want to be with you has to understand that you can't cater to him full-time because you're too busy trying to be a full-time mother. If you're in college, you're working on your undergrad degree, you don't have a lot of layup time. You don't have a lot of Netflix time. You don't have a lot of chill time. You don't have a lot of that. So you have to be fair with what you're expecting and what you can bring to the table.
Okay.
And so many of us don't give that disclaimer. Yeah, he's the right height, but is he available? He's the right skin tone, but is he available? Yeah, he has a nice car, but is he available? Then vice versa. Because what we don't realize is mates are a full-time ministry within itself.
It is.
And so many of us go lacking on our jobs because we're too busy trying to make our mate happy. A lot of us are high maintenance and we require a lot. And you have to give that disclaimer up front. Are you high maintenance? Yes or no? And if you're high maintenance, you got to look for a guy that has high availability.
Gotcha.
A man that's an entrepreneur, a man that's trying to get his career off the ground, a man that's traveling, a man that's over a church, a man that's over a business. He just don't have that availability to just allow you to call him every hour, every 30 minutes. He can't have date night every night. We just don't have that availability. It's not that he's a bad guy.
That's interesting.
He's just unavailable.
That's right.
So how does someone navigate that? Like if I know that I like you and I know that, I think we're compatible, but I need so much because women are needy. Like I'm not a touchy-feely. Hold on, let me start out. I'm not a touchy-feely girl. So I know a lot of women who are. And I'm by far not in my relationship. I don't require all that. But when I want to be touched and felt, I want to be touched and felt with his hand holding hugs. And if you're not available for that, does that mean that you don't want to be in that relationship? Or does that mean that we have to find the right space for us? If find that common ground for us, like how do we navigate that through that as women?
I think first you got to communicate that and be transparent up front, and through that early dating process,
right?
You identify and state that and communicate what you're looking for and be honest. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't be honest, and we can actually work with the person and come up with a plan that will work.
Right.
But not coming up front and being honest about it now drags it on, and then it's a cloud, it's not clear. Issues, yeah. And when things are not clear, then you leave room for misunderstanding.
Are women honest? Do you find women to be honest?
It was told to me that most women don't lie, they just withhold the truth.
I agree with that.
And it's about trying their best to move up the ranks from number 99 to number 1. But the way I'm wired, I interpret it as deceit. I don't want you to build up to it. The way I'm wired, I like it all up front.
Let's lay it on the table.
Yeah, not on the second or third date either. Allow me to make an informed decision. Because I'm going to be transparent.
On the first date?
Yes. Well, not even the first date.
The
first conversation.
Right.
Let's not waste each other's time. Let me be transparent with you. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to try to date me or have a conversation with me. Go to my Facebook page. I encourage you, KK Middleton, Dual Initials. And just follow me every day, and then you can learn me. I don't have split personality. Right. I'm not bipolar. What you see is what you get.
It's easy in this day and time because most of everybody's on social media, and social media allows you to get basically a book of a person. You know what I mean? If 99% of their post is negative or external or just mess or stuff like that. What you think?
Right. Okay. Are men less emotional than women?
I think it depends on the person when it comes to the woman. The right woman will make a man be very emotional, make him cut up. And so you got to know, don't let us fool you. We're very territorial. Most of us who are dominant, alpha men, we are very overprotective. Now, our love language, how we express it may vary. I don't believe in flowers, but I will cash app you.
Amen. Nothing like a good cash app.
Yeah. If I'm not concerned about what you're doing and where you're at, chances are I'm not interested.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. If I'm okay with other guys commenting on your post and I never say nothing about it, chances are I'm not interested. So we are very emotional. It's just how we express it.
Correct. Men are emotional.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just tuning in, I got KK Middleton and Frank. That's all he wanted to go by today in the studio, hanging out on Hearts and Heels. We're talking about what men want. Now, last week the women gave it to us, and the men are laying it down today. Ladies, go get someone, tell them to come on. Remember, if you have a question, you can always call in. But believe me, I have plenty of questions, and the more they talk, the more questions I get. The number is 334-269-6785. So, Frank, Are men afraid of settling down?
We're not afraid of settling down. A man that has been through the process and done his internal self being a self-aware and value himself, he's not afraid of settling down. But there's some requirements that that has to be met for you to settle down. For me, I'm willing to settle down, but I have to see through intentional dating and how you carry yourself. Are you a valuable teammate?
So
now,
go ahead.
Now, so say for instance, like from a business terms, like KK was stating, if I want to bring you as a business partner, or we working together to be the next Walmart or whatever invention, an empire together. Now I gotta check your resume, and I gotta be willing to see that you're a hard worker. Can you work with me under pressure?
Right.
Can we communicate together? Can we do all those things? And then do that? Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, we can settle down because I just need to know that. I have to go through that process to see those things. Then yeah, we're willing.
You have a response?
I would add to Mr. Frank. I think a lot of mature men are afraid of not of settling down, but we are afraid of settling.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah. One of the biggest fears is getting it wrong, especially as I've gotten older. Man, the clock running out. I might not have a lot of birthdays left, and so I don't want my legacy to be negatively frowned upon. Especially after I've experienced love. I've experienced a great mate, and the last thing I want to do is end up with a losing record. And so it's not that I'm afraid of settling down. I'm afraid of settling.
I mean, okay, that's really good. But there are no guarantees in relationships, right? You just have to really trust that. So is that why you're big on being honest of, that very first conversation? Let's just keep it real.
Yes, most definitely. And
what's too real? What's too real?
For me,
nothing.
For me, if you've been divinely assigned to KK Middleton, there's nothing that I could say that'll spook you, that'll shake you. There's absolutely nothing. That's if you're divinely assigned. But if you're with the games, then you're going to be fragile. The scripture talks about he that is weak in a crisis is weak indeed. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the potential crisis up front. I'm going to go ahead and show you the worst case scenario up front. And if you're built a certain way, it won't phase you. You won't bluff. You won't flinch.
Yeah, we don't need to find out about that, a year later, 2 years.
Yeah, later. I'm going to tell you my vice up front.
So you're gonna lay it all on the line up front.
What I got to lose?
That's hard for women to do though, because we're always.
You're afraid somebody's gonna use it against you.
Right.
That's not the one for you. Then keep it moving.
Right. Can't be open. Was one of the requirements for me is being open and being transparent. And so now I got to peel back all these masks. It say is a term like the face. The face behind the mask. Now I got to peel back all these layers and masks, and to just get to the real you, be authentic.
But I've been broken. So if I've been broken,
that means you haven't went through the process, and you haven't healed, and you haven't
went through that process. Very first
now you're in a cycle, and now it's for me as loving myself and valuing myself. I have to see that and know that I don't want to be in that cycle because just like me, say for like a business term, and I'm the CEO and I'm trying to bring our say for a football team and I'm trying to bring in this great player. You might look good, you might perform well on the field, but you ain't recovering. You got drug issues and all these other things. Now I put my whole investment and whole team and whole business, other people counting on this guy, all my money into this basket, and I haven't peeled, and that guy didn't tell me up front, and I didn't peel that layer. Now my whole empire is crushed just because I put all my eggs in that person.
Yeah, I agree.
You gotta be up.
Man, life is full of risk. Take one.
Wow. I have a comment from Jade McKeever. She said, "No, it isn't. You can't require honesty, and you aren't willing to be honest. So, are you willing to be honest, man?"
Yes, that goes to what I said earlier. You gotta love. You gotta be loved. You gotta love yourself to give love. You gotta not lie to yourself to not be lied to. Like people say, okay, I want honesty in him, but are you honest? You gotta be that first. You gotta. Every day is a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ask for love if I ain't loving myself. I can't ask for honesty if I ain't honest in myself. I can't ask for transparency if I'm not transparent with myself. So it's a personal accountability has to happen first, and then you attract, like you said, divinely. You attract what you need. Your energy will attract that.
So if a woman is healed, because I love to talk to women, and I tell anybody, any single woman, I always tell them heal from whatever your past issues are, even your childhood issues that's still controlling your life. Heal, right? So if I'm in this healed place as a woman, what you're telling me is, if he can't be honest with me, he's not in his healed place, and it's gonna break you.
Right, because once you're secure within yourself, man, flaws and all, it is what it is. You either like tattoos or you don't. I mean, honestly, like
tattoos or you don't.
Yeah, like life is too short.
Yeah.
Like for real, like come on, let's all put it out there. Like, man, it is what it is. There's no perfect person, but you can be pure.
Yeah.
You can be solid. And then what I've learned from a psychological standpoint, observe your prospect before you even approach them.
Yes.
A lot of this stuff can be solved with intentional observation.
And I love that both of you are throwing this word around, intentional. You talked about intentional dating and intentional
You think Walmart is Walmart or Amazon is Amazon without a plan, intentionality, thinking through every process. You go to the Bible, talk about Proverbs, the Proverbs woman. And she considered, but in the consideration, there's a lot of planning, a lot of thinking through the process, a lot of patience, a lot of taking emotions out and being diligent about something. You know, you have
take your
to
emotions
do that.
out and put the logic in.
Do you want to grow something, or you just want to jump into something and let's just be stale?
Yeah, and then know who you are. Know your level of availability. Are you even ready for a full-time commitment? Are you trying to be catered to, or do you even know how to cater? And that goes for both male and female. Are you just looking with your hand out, or do you understand what reciprocating is all about? It has to be mutually beneficial for both parties.
And so all of that equates to love for you.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
So do you for men, do you think first and love later, or is it like a connection first? Like answer that question first, and then I go to the next one.
I think we got to learn how to walk and chew gum at the same time. I think you have to be able to do it simultaneously.
Okay.
You have to be logical and loving at the same time. Yeah, like you really got to go there. You got to be able to be quick on your feet and observe and not put on blinders to what you see. Know your triggers. A lot of us are just, we're falling in love on the surface stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to know what is your flaw and your vice, because I need to partner with people who flaws match mine.
Right.
Because I got some non-negotiables.
That's right.
You got to have your non-negotiables. You got to know what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate.
What's a non-negotiable? Do you mind sharing?
I don't mind. I'm not interested in any woman that's in love with the pawn shop.
The pawn shop?
Yeah, that's big for me. I need you to be able to manage your finances. And I'm talking from previous experience.
Gotcha.
I need you to be able to manage your finances and not pawn your soul or your jewelry when times get hard. Money management is big for me.
Money management, okay.
That's
Frank,
top.
what's a non-negotiable?
I agree with the finances part. Also, I say dependability. Somebody to be dependable. If I'm bringing you on my team, in my circle, and now you're my star player. I need to make sure my star player is showing up. My star player is as me being the leader or we leading together as a team, you know, we can follow a plan and execute the task. And I can count on you. Now,
so Mr. Frank, now, man, be interrupting. So you're saying it goes back to that part about availability. When you say dependability, if a woman already has too many responsibilities on her plate, how can she be a mate to you?
That's right.
And so you got to make sure as adults, male or female, that you are available to be dependable. Are you in a position to date?
To give that, yeah.
To be a mate.
I love it.
Now I want to pick it back up what you said earlier about just knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. It goes back to like awareness in that self-love process. Doing that self and evaluating yourself and that self-knowing who you are, that process will show you like where you're weak at and where your strengths are.
Right.
You know, I don't want to go on a date and you know, ask a certain question and you can't even tell me that you're not aware that you don't have finances. Like I ask you that, you know, where's your budget? Like, oh, I don't have a budget. So that means you don't have a plan for your life. You know what I mean? How can I build an empire and, you know, open up multiple businesses and do the things I want to do for my purpose? And you're talking about you haven't even done your own internal stuff like a budget or, you know, like a time slot where you focus your time on your spirituality, even though you got a kid, even though you got a job, but do you know how to manage your life? Time management. Do you know how to manage? If you don't know how to manage time management, you can't handle when I come in. Even if
where do I slide?
Yeah. How do I fit in that picture?
Yeah. How many hours per week do you have committed to me?
You got to work on skills, personal skills, before you even can get in a relationship. So people want to get in a relationship and then try to develop that year 5. No.
Like for me, I'm honest. My life is so busy. It's so sporadic on certain things and my commitments. But I'm intentional at least giving some woman 1 day a week. But that don't mean the whole day.
So you say some woman.
He's like some woman.
Yeah. But you got to know that up front with me. I posted that on my page. I am now officially ready to be a part-time boyfriend. Now you can get in your feelings, but I told you up front. I don't have 7 days a week to commit to any human. But I was transparent. See, that's what I'm looking for. Honestly.
But I think every woman thinks that, but once you get to know me, then we're gonna spend more time with you. You're gonna want to spend more time. But you should see how he's looking at me.
That goes to awareness, like what you want. Like you want a man that just got all that time. You might want to go
somebody that's retired.
You might want to go older and retire. You got time. But you got people like us trying to build an empire and still building brands, and we want to actually do a purpose. My mate, you know, I have my own purpose, but then I want to build a purpose with me and my mate can share, so we can get, you know, together on something. You know, so you gotta think about all of that and be aware of it.
Yeah, like I'm a grandfather now with a grandson in Texas. So that's gonna also split my time. You know, I got plans now to try to make Texas second home, you know, in order to bond with my grandson. I don't know how much longer I got on this planet. So that's a priority to me now.
Right. So if someone's not willing to move, then that'll be an issue.
Or at least travel.
Do you want a man with no purpose? I mean, or do you want a man not working on anything?
Yeah,
no.
So
you don't want a woman not working on anything.
Yeah, and my thing is, you just got to be honest with your desires, your goals, your expectations, and where you are as an individual.
So, are you more attracted to the outside of a woman or the inside? Let's be honest, because, you know, beauty, let's look, as we switch over, in case you haven't been listening, we're on Hearts and Heels. I got the men laughing. They're about to be on fire now. We're about to get into it. We have KK and Frank in the studio with us, and we're talking about what men want, love and relationships, and they have definitely dropped a lot of knowledge. If you are interested in hearing what happened before, go and watch us at Hearts and Heels #1 on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you have a question, you can call us at 334-269-6785. Now, while the men have collected their thoughts, let's get back to it, because let's think. This is such a visual time. It is more visual than it's been in forever, right? So we're always seeing these things, and you have. It was so crazy. I was watching this. I think it was on Instagram. It was this picture of these women. They all had these Brazilian butt lifts because they are so fascinated with getting their bodies in these right places. So is it perfect body or perfect spirit?
Let's use Frank as an example. Out of fairness to Frank.
Yes.
And this is, I'm just being, no shade.
Yeah.
But when you look at the physical makeup of Frank, it's not fair for him to settle. Like, let's be honest. This guy is on point outwardly. This guy got whole muscles. This guy got whole muscles. Yeah, like for real. This guy, man, like this guy, that guy, like he built. He got a fresh haircut. You could tell he does. Somebody that gave him a facial. Like this dude, his clothes is precisely fit to his body.
He got nice shoes
on. Like this dude on point. So out of fairness to him, he ought to be able and be allowed to expect the same thing from his mate. And that shouldn't have to be a verbal requirement. It should be understood. Certain women shouldn't even think that he's gonna look their way when you look at how well he takes care of himself. So if we had to say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 the highest, 1 the lowest, he's a 10. Now KK on the other end, I consider myself a 7.5. So I'm gonna probably look at a 7.5 externally.
I give him a 9.5.
I love it. We bring each other.
But out of fairness, it's like, look at you, look at him.
Yeah.
Do you have a right to expect for him to even consider you outwardly? Now, I just bought another truck. I want the outside and the inside. I want that motor right. I want that transmission right. But I also want to stop traffic too when I pull up. Yeah. And I think women have a right to expect the same thing. I think we all should be conscious of how we take care of our temple, both our mind and our muscles. I'm throwing no shade on nobody. I'm trying to see, can you walk and chew gum at the same time? Can you do both? Do you have a good motor, transmission, and paint body?
Yeah, I don't know.
I agree. I mean, with this topic of that question, it can go a long way, but I have to agree. I would say in my past, I would look outwardly as for a man. Like most men, like, okay, yes, I expect you to go and take care of your body. But that goes back to what I said earlier. That's part of the process of loving yourself. Like KK said, I give you an example. Like me, I say about a year and a half ago, I was 100 pounds more than I was now. Wow. I went through a process of healing my mind. That took a process of 10 years. Like when I got out of college, I started watching TV. I would read books. I would start fortifying and attacking certain areas in my life that I was weak at. That's so this past year, I used the COVID as an opportunity to attack my physical health. So I ended up changing my diet and went vegan. Wow. Don't take sugar out my diet. Wow. Took carbs, a lot of bread, carbs, and stuff out my diet. I know. Right? So it can help me resonate not only physically outwardly, but internally. The body is resonating on a higher frequency, being more connected from a spiritual standpoint more than. But for me, I definitely value now internal more than outwardly. Yes, I do expect you to have your outside of your truck clean and the inside clean too. But I need to know that you value the internal just as much as you do out external. Yeah. And sometimes you get in a relationship like, okay, I don't have the time. I'm taking care of my daughter, like the women, or this and that. But we got time for nails. We got time for heels. We got time for all of this stuff. But are you making time for your internal? Yeah. And a lot of men, we get in trouble because even when we date, we go in and not the guys or even women that don't intentionally date. We let all the outwardly stuff crowd our vision. We never pick back the layers to get to talking about what we talked about earlier about the mindset, being upfront, being authentic, telling me what you want up front. I don't want to talk about external stuff.
Can we just for about 5 seconds celebrate those women that are working on both? both the inside and the outside.
Yes.
I do believe it can be done.
It can be. It's just hard. It really is, but it can be done. I mean, I think, we get so comfortable as women. So, unfortunately, I think one of the things we do, we get comfortable in relationships. So, if that relationship ends, then starting over is the hardest part.
Don't ever get comfortable.
Never,
always
right.
carry yourself.
I knew you was going to say it.
Dating.
That's
always carry yourself as if you're auditioning, both male and female.
Wow.
Never get comfortable.
I don't
like
care
a
if that's,
year
I don't
two
care
years?
if
I don't
that's
care if
dating.
it's been 10
I don't
years.
care if that's your job. I don't care if that's you a pastor.
Right.
I don't care if you're a musician.
I carry
don't
myself
care
like
who
I'm
you
on
are.
probation, even with my church. I still go in there every week as if it's my first week.
It calls constantly improving. You don't want to get stagnant. You improve every area of life, and you got to be aware of that. It goes back to loving yourself. Your awareness of self and knowing where you are, and your awareness knowing that now I want to be whole. The Bible talk about wholeness, but you gotta break that plan down.
New manna, fresh manna. Fresh manna is always dropping down. You never get complacent with who you are. Constantly continue to evolve in your brand. Always look at that next level. Say, okay, I've mastered this. What's next?
What's next?
What else can I do to enhance myself? That's the old me. That was good for 3 years. But I encourage all of us in your listening audience, every 3 years, take your brand to another level. Never get complacent, because one of the things that I know about humans, we get naturally bored.
Yeah.
We lose interest, male and female, no matter what denomination you subscribe to, no matter what your level of education. Tired. Man, we get bored. We lose interest. So you have to constantly reinvent yourself, constantly remarket yourself, because if not, it'll appear as if you're taking what you have for granted.
That happens in relationships too. Even if you're out there listening, you're in a good relationship or you started a relationship, you gotta understand, you gotta keep being innovative.
Right.
You gotta keep being creative. You gotta keep switching it up and challenging each other, so you can get in the habit or in the habit of pushing yourself
keep bossing better. Up. Keep leveling up.
And that's a habit. So your first gear, your first train of thought is always, I'm trying to get better. So you want to do that over time till it just comes second nature. A person that shoot that ball, like Kobe shooting free throws, he worked on it so much, so he only got to think of it. It's just our life. We work on it so much until we always pushing ourselves and getting better.
We don't master the free throws, master the layups.
Right.
After you master the layups, master the dunks.
Yes.
After you master the dunks, then master blocking. There's always something else.
Ladies, y'all need to watch sports if you have no idea what they're talking about.
Man, just keep bossing up, male and female.
Yeah.
That's even for me. I gotta get that weight down. Tone up.
Yes.
I gotta continue to work on my vocabulary.
And not just your physical weight, your spiritual weight, your emotional weight.
Keep working on becoming more pure. Keep cleansing yourself. Keep working on being a better caterer, a better servant to your mate. Keep looking at ways to make them smile. Just keep learning them. Keep building up their trust. It's ongoing. Never think, boom, I done made it.
No. What I heard when you were speaking, like, hey, work.
It's like, real work.
It requires work. Like, you think you're going to come in and be lazy in any area of life.
This is not a vacation.
Yeah, it's not. It's not going to happen. You can't go in and think everything's going to be laid out. No.
Because one thing about it, when you find a good mate, guess what you now got to look at? So trying to protect what you have. Because one thing the world realizes, they notice good chemistry. And we covet that. We envy that. And so once we see that you're with somebody that is making you smile, we're now saying, I need to get her because I believe I can do a better job with her than what he's doing, and vice versa. So now not only do you have to fight to get it, you got to fight to keep it.
Yes.
You got to protect everybody from the wolves.
Wow. I like it. Jay McKeever said, this is so good. Women rarely get to have open and real conversations with men. Love it. So they love it. They love it that you guys sharing all these truths. So what are some unattractive things? Now, I know we talked about some inside things, right? Some inside things. Frank's like, don't do it to me. So let's talk about it. You like women with makeup or without makeup?
I love makeup in the daytime, publicly. I love makeup. I believe every woman needs to make sure, if you don't naturally have them, go get y'all some lashes. I believe in lashes in the name of Jesus. I believe in lashes.
Can we make sure they don't hit the road, you know?
I would rather for you to have long ones instead of none at all. Go get them. I'm like enhancements. I'm all for it. I'm a fan of it. Go get you some help. Get the good stuff that don't shed. You know, I'm a fan of it. Go do whatever is necessary that can enhance you. I'm a fan of that. Because as a man, I use enhancements. I'm not a naturally black bearded guy. I'm spotty gray. So every week, there's not a week go by that I don't put my Just for Men on. I go get my manicures. I buy them expensive blades to shave my head every day. I believe in enhancing the man. So definitely, I'm a fan of it. Women, do your thing. I support
it. Go get it.
Go get it.
For me, I don't knock it. It's just do your thing to make yourself better. You know, and if you need to do that, then do it. Just don't identify that you are this mask or you are the enhancement, but the enhancement is an enhancement. Don't become the enhancement.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah,
so you can only be your true self when you're all made up. You should be able to be authentically you.
Yeah, and my thing is, even if you want to be natural, make sure you consult with somebody else who can show you how to be the best natural woman that you want to be.
Enhance that.
Yeah, like you can still have swag and style, even with being natural. But don't look at it as a substitution for being lazy. Because I've noticed that everybody ain't natural because they are in tune with the creator.
Gotcha.
That's true. No, some people are taking a lazy way out.
That's true.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can still swag and be natural. You can still go to the beautician, get it lined up, get it trimmed up, put some spice.
Do something.
Yeah.
Get some nice shoes.
Yeah. Put some fragrance on.
Oh.
Go get your wax. Like, these are real topics. Like, work on your teeth. I put a lot of money to my mouth, and I got older. I'm ready to now go to the next level. Like, all of that matters. I'm big on hygiene.
Wholeness.
Yeah, holistically take care of your temple.
Yes.
I'm big on hygiene. Watch your diet. As Frank said, certain things we eat give off the wrong odor.
Doesn't it?
Man, you got to know that, though. Get educated. Get around other people.
Especially when you work out. Like
certain things you eat trigger certain emotions.
Yeah.
It enhance certain emotions.
Learn yourself.
Why do I feel this way? Like, you gotta look at what you're taking in spiritually, physically, all that.
Yeah, make sure that you're not drinking certain alcoholic beverages that can add to your depression.
That's right. Good. Yeah.
You gotta know what triggers you in a negative way.
Know it, ladies. Yeah, somebody said hygiene woo. I know. So you guys have hygiene issues at this age with women.
Everybody don't know. We take for granted.
I can't believe this.
We don't have like, when is the proper time? How do you write a sermon saying go get waxed?
That's true.
I don't know the scripture. Maybe you could use Esther when she was being prepared for the king.
Hey!
Prepare
yourself. Right. Glory. And that goes for men too.
Yeah.
Yeah, prepare your temple.
That's right.
Clean your temple.
Right. I get you. I'm with you. All right. Okay.
Restate that last question again.
What?
The last question you asked. Can you restate it?
I don't remember it. You know, I'm.
Oh, go ahead, Flo.
What are some unattractive things pertaining to women?
Yes.
I was gonna say, my biggest thing is that tongue or the mouth or the loudness.
Not knowing how to use your inside voice.
Yeah, don't or allow you just out here, or you're not wise in what to say and when to say it.
Yes.
That's one of the
ouch. You don't want anybody publicly embarrassing you.
Yeah, you're a representation of me. Now, I should have done my due diligence before I even connected with you, first of all, but still, you're a representation of your...
Yes.
So if we're at an ASU game, she can cheer in the stands. But if she takes you to a banquet, or if you take her to a banquet, you don't want her all loud and turned.
Or saying foul things out of the mouth, or cussing, or just,
You want to be able to have some self-control.
Discipline. Emotional discipline, self-discipline.
I love
tongue
it.
Discipline.
He's all about discipline. So it's a scripture, and I love this scripture, and I share this with everybody because it's one of my favorite scriptures. I had to learn when I was young because I talk too much too. Study to be quiet. It's in the Bible. I promise you. It is said. It's in the Bible. Preacher. It's study to be quiet. Learn when to talk, how to talk, what to say, when to say, how to say it. It is important. My husband is big on that. Like when we're out somewhere and we be having a full blown argument, you would never know because I can't. He was like, "Don't roll your neck, don't look at me crazy. You better smile." Amen. So we're in the store like, "You get on my nerves. You get on my nerves."
Because to add to what Mr. Frank is saying, when it comes to posting now. Social media has become a new place for people to vent. Right. My biggest fear that if I'm with you and we have a falling out, that you go and post it. That's a deal breaker for me.
Oh yeah.
You ain't got but a half a time to allude to the fact that we done fell out and that you had a disagreement. Man, it's done. You can have the furniture. You can have the house. I'm out. Like, don't put me out there.
Yeah. Even if I'm trying to get to know you or doing my investigation, I see that I see you go to your Facebook
throwing shade,
and I see you throwing shade or being messy.
That's a deal breaker.
Or sharing somebody else post that throwing
shade. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I probably won't friend you.
Nah.
I can't have that in my space.
Right. You got an issue? Bring it to me. You got an issue? Don't take it to your home girl. Don't take it to your mom. Bring it to me. My number works.
Let's talk about it in a controlled setting. Yeah. In a controlled environment.
Yeah. My number works. Because chances are, see, it's a misunderstanding anyway.
Right, 9 out of 10 times.
I can't read your mind, and too many of us we spend too much time investing to nonverbal communication.
So, ladies, I've been married to my husband for a long time, so I claim to know men. But listening to these men, I have no idea what men are thinking at all. Like, so whatever your issues are, go to your man to talk to him. Yeah. That's all I'm here to tell you. Yeah. Because 9 out of 10 times it is an understanding. Yeah.
Don't throw shade. Don't make posts.
Be clear.
Verbally. I don't do the nonverbals very well. Nor do I do written very well because written communication can be misinterpreted. I can misinterpret a text or a post.
Right. Because you start adding all your
emotions and misunderstandings and previous experiences. But if you have that eye-to-eye contact, not ear to ear, but eye to eye, I need to look at you while you talk.
Right.
I need to be able to feel you out. Get your mind right, get your words right, and step. Come at me. Don't talk over me. Yes.
For a guy like KK, he's busy-minded, got a lot going on, and you just draw up more time and energy that he got to spend trying to put a puzzle together. And you only gave him like 2 pieces.
Right.
And just be upfront, be clear. It saves you both time.
Right.
And you can actually get to your destination quicker.
Right.
Why go around the whole city when you can get there in 2 minutes?
Well, let's keep it going. What else is unattractive about women?
That's the thing. I think every man is different.
Right.
Like me, I don't need a woman that is super religious. I think what's unattractive.
Is different than super spiritual.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I want y'all to catch it. I know people like he is a preacher. No, it's the difference between being religious and being spiritual.
Like that's a turn off for me. That every time I come over, you think you gotta play gospel.
Right.
Man, anything after dark, I don't want to hear that. Like, come on, my Bible says that's what Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says. To everything there's a season. Yeah.
So you don't want to hear Amazing Grace when you walk in the house.
Play that for Sunday morning.
It missed the whole movie.
But not Sunday night. I don't need that on Sunday night. I need benediction. I need dessert. I done had my morning manna. I done had my bread.
Right.
I done had my communion. Man, let's unwind.
So do you find, I know we're talking about men in general, but do you find that, and I know Frank is a musician, FYI, by the way, for all the women who love musicians, Frank is a musician, and he's a really spiritual, super nice guy, FYI. Do you find that women try to be more spiritual when they know that you're in ministry, both of you? Like, do you find them
trying to impress?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a turnoff.
Yes, most times.
Yeah, because I don't need you so stuck in this religious box that you can't function outside of that, because then I'm gonna think that you're a lame, that you're narrow-minded, and that you have limitations.
Not open, can't have fun.
Right. I need balance. After I get through working, I need to have balance. I need balance. I need to know you got to persuade me that you have balance.
I mean, because God is in everything.
Everything.
You keep God with you.
Everything's connected.
and even it talks about in the bedroom. The Bible says the marriage bed is undefiled. Meaning we got to turn up in there. And if you haven't subscribed to that type of teaching, then we're gonna have an issue. Because just like I go hard in the pulpit, I need to go hard in the bedroom. And if that's not how you're viewing life, if that's not a top concern of yours to be a specialist, both in public and in private, we have a disconnect. I need you to show out when the camera is on and when it go off.
Because a lot of women just like to be out front. They love what they think ministry is. They don't love what.
I need you to minister to me.
That's a whole other conversation.
When I get through ministering to the people, I need somebody to minister to me.
Because it requires that. It requires that. Like when someone finished ministering, it's a level of anointing that is very similar to charisma, and it's very similar to being sexual.
You're depleted.
You are kind of at this place.
Good now.
It is.
After you get through serving others, you need to be served.
Because I'm a musician, he's a pastor, minister, and we put out so much. We give. So we got to be fed. We need that person.
Frank gives, like he is in ministry. He gives over to God, and he allows the anointing to take him. Now, go ahead.
But how do we get fed? So we come home, and we need that mate. We need that partner to be that person that's feeding us back and re-energizing us, giving us peace, a safe haven for us. We want to come home to a peaceful, safe haven environment.
Right. No nagging. We don't need you drained and exhausted too. Vice versa. We got to make sure that we're partnering up with people who are readily available to serve and accommodate one another.
Right. I'm with you 150%. Who's getting through? Listen, if you just tuning in, I've been talking to KK and Frank on Hearts and Heels, and we've been talking about what men want. And it's been a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Enjoying it, man. Frank,
thank you so much. And we can go a whole nother conversation. We probably should have a whole nother show just about ministry and dating, because I got plenty of advice for every woman that come up to me. I want to be a pastor wife. Let me tell you, I wish my husband could. I know you don't.
So you ready for war? You're saying you ready to sign up to be
because
in the
it's
army.
A different kind of prayer. And let me say this, ladies. I know I'm not the one giving advice, but you got to understand who you're attaching to, because your prayer level has to match that. Like you can't be married to people who are spiritual and then you don't pray. Nothing. It's nothing good with that, because you're not protecting your family.
He needs
your covering. You are a covering. You are a protector. You are when the Bible says that the breast shall be satisfied. He ain't just talking about sexual. He's talking about being a comforter. All those things you giving. So it's so much to it. But I digress. Listen, are you intimidated by women who make more money than you?
Frank, you want to answer that? I got my view on it. I just made a post about that. I'm in a posture to where if Oprah Winfrey called me right now and asked me to change my last name, I would be KK Winfrey. I would no longer be KK Middleton.
I'm in agreement. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's a team. It's oneness.
Biblically, Paul and from the Quran, both Paul and Prophet Muhammad, they both ended up, being sponsored by women who made a lot more than them.
Well, that's true.
I mean, you can't argue the fact that we are in a time now where women are out here and they've learned how to get it. You all are in professions. It's not that y'all work more than us. It's just that the industries that you're choosing to pursue pays more. We both work 40 hours, but man, a medical doctor or even an RN is gonna make more than a career coach. I mean, it's just the industry. So I'm not intimidated by it. I welcome it. I'm still a man. No matter what's in your bank account, I'm still a grown man.
They don't make
fully developed, God-fearing.
I know who I am.
If I ain't have a dime in my pocket when I speak, earth shake.
Right.
I walk in authority.
He got that confidence.
That's right.
Man, I'm not intimidated by no human.
Nobody else can define me if I know who I am. I value myself and I know who I am. You can't define me.
And I'm not a leech. and I'm not a leech. I can hold my own. Even if we have to live in separate homes, I'll stay in a 1-bedroom hut and maintain my manhood. But you won't handle me. I will applaud you and I can cheer for you and still won't ask you for a dime.
But a man would do that. A boy wouldn't.
Well, hey, man up.
I'm just asking for the women, because some women who are dealing with that.
Shouldn't be I
don't beg women for nothing. And I know women of all walks of life who find me interesting, who find me attractive. And they'll tell you, I don't need nothing from you. Continue to enjoy your mansion, your 3-car garage, and your 6 figures. But when you want to flirt, hey, I stay in the hood. If you ain't afraid of the hood, you can stop by.
Right.
Stop by the hood. Listen, I know you can't believe it. We're almost done.
Man, this has been amazing.
It's been great.
Like, we're almost done. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So I have a question, and I want both of you to answer as we get ready to close out. Again, we have KK and Frank that's been on the air with Hearts and Heels. What do you wish women understood better about you or about men or about themselves? KK, we'll start with you this time because we started with Frank last time.
I want women to understand not to be offended when you and the man that you find interesting don't click. Don't be offended. And in fact, thank the Almighty Creator for early detection and early discernment. I know you're lonely. I know the holidays are coming up. I know you promised grandma by the next family reunion you would bring somebody. But listen, don't rush into disaster. So many women get offended when they think that they're on to something and it doesn't work. And then they start to lash out. They start to speak out. They start to slander and defame. I get it all the time. And I'm like, no, I just am honest enough to tell you, hey, I have an Infiniti Q70. You are a Mercedes S-Class series. The parts don't connect.
Right.
And so don't be offended. I get it all the time. When they want to flirt and I don't flirt back to their level of acceptance, you must don't like women. You must be gay. Like it's all the shade.
And they throw you in the bucket.
Yeah. And it's not like, oh, you're a womanizer. Oh, I'm not good. What you think I'm not good? No, it's just not a divine fit. And so understand, nobody's dissing you. Nobody's disrespecting you. Nobody's overlooking you. It just doesn't fit. I'm a Q70. You a Mercedes S-Class. It don't fit.
You can't make it fit.
And we can still be good associates. You got to understand, your listening audience got to understand, just because you're not a couple don't mean you can't coexist.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't lose a good friend or a good associate because they didn't become your soulmate.
That's right.
Every man you meet is not sent by God to be in your bed, but they probably have been meant to be in your circle.
That's good. That's good. Discernment.
I'm just going to pick it back off that because I do agree. And from my experience, I see that so much. And I'm glad you, KK, that you brought that up because that's one of the high things I see that it's a problem because I get approached. And for me, valuing myself, I know it don't work. But yeah, we can be friends here. But I'm not your boyfriend. And I might not want to date you. But
that don't mean we're not cool.
They ain't mean we cool.
Yes.
But then it's like, oh, he ain't cool, or he don't want to be with me, and then they slander your name.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. You're messing up.
Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna run off the next guy
that might see that.
Yeah. Because you're not hurting the current guy. You hurting your own brain.
Right.
Not being able to maintain your emotions under disappointment, it destroys and disqualifies you for the next prospect. You just killed all future prospects.
That's good.
Because the first thing they're going to say is, man, did y'all see what she did to KK? I ain't even finna flirt with her because if things don't work out with us, she going to do me the same way. So you just disqualified yourself. Suppress all of that. Go out in the backyard and scream. Take it to God in prayer, not to Facebook.
Not to social media.
Move on.
Not to social media.
Move on.
Take it to your supreme being.
Take it to God. Move on.
Yeah, and learn how to build valuable friendships. Instead of situationships.
Because every man isn't your relationship. Everybody's
not your soulmate, but they can be your cool buddy,
that y'all can meet up at the pool. Y'all can meet up at the sports bar. You can even meet up at church.
Mature people can handle that.
Yeah.
All right, listen, gentlemen, they get it. I don't know why I let them come on, ladies. I'm sorry. They get it in tonight. They have got it going. Frank said he was gonna be quiet the whole time, and look what happened. Listen, thank you so much for tuning into Hearts and Heels. Now, the conversation continues next week. We're gonna have some young people, some real young folks to come on and talk about relationships and what men and women want and all these things, because we got to uncover some things. We thank you for listening to Hearts and Heels. We'll be back here same time, same station. Definitely not the same way. It just gets better and better. And remember, ladies, whatever you do, do it with all your heart. And if you can't do it, remember to put on your 6 inches and look good while you're doing it.
That's right.
We'll see you next week.
Great job.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. Tell for social media good night.
Good night. Good night.
See you guys next week.